fun to. All right, let's get this going. I am so excited for today. Like I was talking about earlier, we have a lot of great leaders on today. We couldn't fit every week we have someone that we interview and they talk about how they've gotten here to success and what they're doing and they implement, different things and they share how to, two or three things that regular realtors can plug into and start to grow their business. And because it's towards the end of the year and because I know everyone's doing goal setting and they need answers of how they're going to have a really successful 2026. I reached out to some of the leaders who are making multiple six figures and even multiple seven figures at eXp Realty, and I asked them to come and just share their secrets of how are you utilizing the platform differently? What are you plugging into? How are you taking the money that you're earning and investing it? And I feel like sometimes these meetings, taking one or two little nuggets and plugging them into our business model of things that we're already doing could be life changing. And we're all about legacy and generational wealth, and some of the people on here have really built that. So thank you all for being here today. It's going to be a very open forum where you guys can just pop in and share what's working for you. What are you using at eXp to make money other than just the traditional? I have a client in my database. They called me. They want me to help them buy or sell a house because us as realtors, that's what we do. We love doing that. We love helping families. But I've learned that multiple streams of income is now, not a luxury. It's a necessity to survive in this economy. So if y'all would like to open up and share, and feel free to ask each other questions or tell me more about that, because I really want us to walk away with a couple things to really plug into. EXP offers so much that I think that it's overwhelming sometimes. And I think if we could really show examples of how we're using it to build wealth, we can all be rich together and help each other. So thank you for being
I'll start because I have to leave early to take Cadence to the doctor, apparently.
your infection.
Yeah, so I've been at EXP 10 years. Hopefully everyone knows that. If not, if you're just joining or seeing on social media, I've been at EXP 10 years, and then each year I've been able to hit the icon status, which means that EXP has given me opportunities to earn my entire $16,000 cap back in shares of the company. And these shares are a little bit different than most real estate shares as they encompass all of the ancillary services that EXP offers, like EXP Global, Success Enterprises, and stuff like that. So when we are getting shares of EXP Realty, we're actually getting shares of EXPI, which is a multi-billion-dollar company. So what I've done with those is a little bit different. So um, traditionally you'd get shares and you kind of have them in a nest egg, and maybe you diversify those shares and do what you want with them. But what I've been blessed enough and able to do is transfer all of those shares that I've been getting and continue to get. And every month, it seems like new shares start to vest. Once you get here 2 or 3 years, your shares that they gave you that are free, they start vesting, which is meaning they're able to use, or you're able to cash them out or do what you want with. So it seems like every month now that I've been with EXP for 10 years is I'm getting shares that are vesting and open to me to be able to use. So what I've done instead of selling them or cashing them out is I've taken all those shares and I put them into. I use JP Morgan. It's like a brokerage, a stock brokerage, and I have all those shares at JP Morgan, and I'm able to borrow against the value of those shares to do flips with. I can do flips. I can do all kinds of stuff with. The main thing I've done it for is I've utilized those line of credit to do hard money lending. So I'm able to give people money that are looking to buy fix and flip properties or buy and hold properties. And I'm essentially, it's not, I don't even think it is my money. I feel like because they've given me those shares. I've taken those shares and just putting them with the brokerage. I've asked for a line of credit against the value of those shares, and then I'm using that value of those shares to lend people money that pay me interest on money that I feel like I got for free. So it's a really cool deal. A lot of call it a hack, call it what you want, but that I've been doing that, and I think a couple people have been doing that. Um, but that's the biggest thing is once you start getting into EXP Realty and selling houses, just like you should anywhere, you start collecting and getting shares of the company. And after a couple years of doing that consistently, you should be able to have enough amount of shares or whatever to be able to, like I said, either sell those if you want. I wouldn't, especially right now, when the real estate industry is just down in general. But once you kind of get those things, I would start using it to make more money. So, Teddy, you had a question on that?
Laura had a question first.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff, I think for a lot of people, agents that maybe everyone knows what hard money is, but I just want to skip the hard money
Oh,
part for people that
yeah.
get confused about that. And I want to go
Okay.
back to the part where you figured out how to do this and that you had enough stock that
Yeah.
was worth enough money and you took a loan against it.
Yeah.
Do all the big we have what do we have? Morgan Stanley, is that who
Yeah.
does ours? And then that's kind of like JP Morgan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but how much do you have to have before you start having enough credit to actually do stuff with? And then is it like a loan where you pay it back in payments? Like, because to me, that's like the first baby step you mentioned. And I think that's where most
Yeah.
people would start. So, just give us a little nugget on
Yeah,
how
sure. So JP Morgan will give you 50% of what the value of your stock is for a loan. And it's a line of credit. So you don't actually pay any interest until you pull against it. So let's say that you have a $100,000 line of credit, or let's say you have $100,000 worth of shares. They'll give you up to $50,000 in a line of credit. And then let's say you pull $10,000 out to invest into a flip. You start paying interest on that 10,000. But really when you make your payments, you're kind of paying down the balance as well. So you're the bank as well, but you do have interest. Don't
okay,
get me wrong. It's usually prime plus, and prime is probably, I think prime is still in the high sixes, and then they add a point or two. So they're making their money off of your money, um, but every month is interest only payments unless you want to pay on top of that to pay down your note. You can.
okay,
But it like so I had it all at Morgan Stanley, and it's just really easy. Well, when you call JP Morgan and say I want to move shares over, they kind of roll out the red carpet for you and say here's how to do it. So I rolled everything into JP Morgan, but they also take the reason I use JP Morgan is because they take your cash into consideration and your all kinds of stuff into consideration. So, but
okay,
essentially you go out and get a line of credit from a bank, but then you're paying the bank. Why not utilize what eXp has given you and kind of make yourself the bank? You kind of borrow from yourself.
okay.
Um,
And so that's on shares that have either like the ones that you purchase with your
yeah, you
5%
can.
stock purchase or they
Yep.
vested. And so you have to
Yep.
have,
So
yeah.
that's why I started with the icon conversation because I've icon 10 times. So in 10 times, they've given me back $16,000 worth of shares. And the shares used to be $1 or $2 a share before they even split. So and then also the 5% program. Every closing I get, I buy a little bit of EXPI at a discount, and then I borrow against that too.
Yeah, so
And then go ahead.
there's 5 ways. I think most of you will know that, but every time you have your first closing, right, of every year, you get stock. If you bring someone onto the company and they have a house sell, they have their first closing, you get stock. If you cap, you get stock. If you icon, you can get your whole 16,000 back, which is awesome. And then there's that 5% program where for me, I was paying a 6% royalty at my last brokerage. So I was like 5% I won't miss. And if I had it, I'd probably spend it. But you can buy stock at I think it's a 10% discount. So you're getting a 10% return on your money before you even invest it. So
Yeah, I tell people they say, "Oh, EXP has stock. Who cares?" I mean, that's just what is a stock, blah blah
and
blah.
it has been so many houses for us.
What I try to explain to them is, man, you're my goodness, so you can do all kinds of stuff with this stuff. So, and it's like, and before you know it, you're going to sell. If you're planning on being in real estate a long time, you're going to sell for 3, 4, 5, 15, 20, 30 years. And each time you're buying or selling a house or helping people buy and sell a house, you're accumulating stock every time you attract an agent to the company, every time they sell a house. So all of a sudden in 2 or 3 years, you're doing what you're going to do anywhere else. In 2 or 3 years, you'll have a little bit of nest egg that you wouldn't have anywhere else. You would have spent it on something. And then what I was saying on this Zoom is just, like I said, a way to borrow against that. So it's my little how EXP has, EXP does offer generational wealth in addition to their revenue share program, just with the stock in general. And I've sold some too. When the 2021, 2022, the stock's at over $100 a share. And I cashed in and I bought an investment property. I put a huge down payment on my house. Like this stock is real. So anyway, that's my little spill.
Yeah, and you can use it.
And
Other people have used
Or
it for, I'd love for y'all to share it, like for, investing in Airbnbs or investing in, I'll buy this house and I'll owner finance it to you, but you need to put a lot of money down and be paying me 10% interest or, things that for me, when I first got into real estate, I didn't know about stock. I was really cheap and I didn't want to buy stock because I'd probably buy the wrong one or it wouldn't go well or, it was a risk for me and I'm very, I don't like risk. But for me, I'm going to sell houses. And so if they're going to give me stock for selling houses, that's a risk I'm willing to take. And then if I can take that and put that into real estate or a secured loan that's backed by real estate, that's a language that I speak. And that is, like you said, you're going to be selling houses for 5, 10 years. Hui, I would love to hear what you do because you do some really great things.
no, I gonna pick it back from Jeff because unfortunately the statistic within eXp is that only 20% of us actually contribute to the 5% program, the stock program. And
Wow.
I'm telling you, I think by far this is the most, underrated program out there because if I'm gonna give you 5% of your commission, Suzanne, Laura, you're gonna spend it on something dumb. I guarantee you that,
yeah.
right? You're gonna spend it out. You're gonna spend it. I did.
Why'd
Everybody
you
did.
call me out, Hui?
No, that's
But
just a realtor in general. If they get ten
yeah,
thousand
Yeah.
dollars, they're spending 11,000 on
Well,
vacation.
you
That's
let
just
you're
me
how
gonna
realtors work.
let me tell
everybody
y'all.
he-
Let me tell
everybody
you.
here. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Well, I was
No.
gonna say it's true though, and I'm gonna just like raise my hand and say dumb, kind of dumb, because before I thought this way, I icon starting my first full-time year and our stock went crazy. And I cashed $25,000 of it out to buy my navigator. And like thinking back on that now, I mean, yes, it was like 1% interest. At least the loan was, affordable, but that 25K, I thought I was being cool, like a cool realtor. Don't get me wrong, I love my navigator, but that's an example of a mindset of a typical realtor, right? I had this windfall of like stock value go up and I go and blow 25K on a freaking car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to continue, the icon is great, but the file program, you're not gonna miss it, so I would, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but for me, I've been contributing it to it, and you can see the compound interest, right? Because you buy every month with your closing, and then every time you cap, they give you a little bit. You add all of them up, and then you cost average, and at the end of the day, just like Jeff shared, you're gonna have, a very good amount that you can start playing with, right? And then that live credit with EXPI, they only give you 50%. So so let's say, on the day when the stock high, if you leverage, if you manage to move some of those stock out, let's say to a blue chip stock like EPD, EPD is
Mhm.
paying 8%, right? So EPD is paying you 8%, right? And then whenever you need the money, you can borrow against it. And then because it's a blue chip stock, right? Morgan Stanley,
Yep.
they let you borrow 80% of the value.
Yeah.
So
Which
all
is
of a
scary.
sudden, you earn 8% on EPD. You don't have to sell it, and whenever you need it for flip, you can move it out. I mean, this is mind-blowing stuff that most real estate agents they never think of, right? So you start to think about, how you can leverage your equity and, never sell equity, right? Equity is the name of the game, right? Leverage it, never sell it.
That's amazing. Kai was just saying he helped a couple people log into their account and see it for the first time. I just put on the chat how to sign up for it if you're not already signed up for it because you don't think about it. I remember Amy called me bawling because she had not looked at hers and she found $118,000. And she's like, we had just bought this house. I wanted a swimming pool. I wanted this. And she's like, that changes my whole situation. And so I think that having that extra stream of income and having that, that we don't even have to think about, just put it with the rest. Whatever you're doing right now in business is great. Just add that one little extra thing. It's incredible. Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that
And
up.
real quick, that's what, me and we and Amanda and Laura, that's what we're doing. But let's think of the traditional or the more traditional real estate agent. Let's say that they're getting that 5%. And like we said, they're not missing it. And then all of a sudden they go 0 for 3. They don't have a closing for 3 months. Oh crap, guess what? I can log in, I can cash in, I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my car payment, I can buy groceries, I can pay my electricity bill. All that stuff adds up. And like you said, you don't miss it, but you definitely use it when you need it. And if you were to get it, like we said, I would say most of us are just going to spend it. So it's just good to do. It's a little hack. And one question was, can you buy more than 5%? No, but it's a publicly traded stock. So you can buy in as much as you want. but you're not going to get a discount unless you're utilizing your EXP commissions to do it. So anyway,
I, I will also add one comment because I know there's a lot of agents that come from a corporate America background. So, and then there's a lot that don't. But like for me, I came from a 401k, job environment. So I was mesmerized that this was even available as an agent. So I think that if you're ever talking to any realtor friends or people that are thinking of going from a corporate environment to real estate, this is just a game changer for mindset for those people because it really made the leap for me so much easier to go from that to this because I understand that too, and that's another one that I think with the stocks that are gifts that have to vest, some people complain about that, and I'm like, if you've ever had a 401k, you're on a vesting schedule, so it just it makes sense if you come from that background. I think that's it's a huge a crossover from traditional jobs to real estate.
I'm glad you bring that up because I never had a real job, so I didn't have that background. But hearing you talk about 401k and security and even health insurance, right? The EXP offers health insurance. That is something where you get to have your like entrepreneur 1099 cake, but then you also have this corporate backing where you can have your cake and eat it too. And I think that we take that for granted as entrepreneurs.
Good stuff.
Yeah, how else are y'all making money? I want to share one that's really casual and simple. I know where I came from. We came from Keller Williams, and now we've been here for 10 years. It's crazy how fast it goes by. And at first I was new, right? And then I got into my production, and then we were selling a lot of houses, and then we were teaching classes, and then it was like so cool to go to the office and people would ask us questions, and then people would start to call me over the weekends or text me and say, "Hey, what would you do here?" And "Hey, I value your opinion there." And I think naturally, as leaders and producers who are successful, we feel like we should help the next generation of realtors. And so we take the time to say, "Hey, let me have coffee with you," or "Let me team you up with this person," or "Let me mentor you." But we never get paid for it, right? I think we just do it because we feel good about it, and then it's just a time suck, even though it's leadership. And so the mentorship program, as simple as it seems, has been really empowering for me because I'm able to help those people, but then EXP pays me 10% of their commission off the top. And so I remember one month I had several mentees closing deals, and I had $9,000 in addition, like extra income from just helping people. And those were people I would have helped anyway, but EXP paid me to be a mentor. And for me, that is something that if you guys, have figured out how to sell real estate and you figured out how to build a pipeline and you like to help people anyway, why not get paid for your knowledge and your skill set and your leadership? So that's been a huge that alone could be six figures.
Amanda, can I add to that?
Yes, please. Hey, Tanya.
Good morning. So I want to add to what Amanda was saying that I personally don't sell. I recruit and I coach, and I still get rev share every month, which is really awesome. But the point that I want to piggyback on is Amanda's talking about mentorship. So I have a lot of agents that either are solo or they're on mega teams or teams. And just recently, in the last like year and a half, I've been asking them, like, hey, you guys have so much experience. One, you're getting stock, right? So you're getting stock, you're getting leads from this team, but because you guys are leaders in the in the area, you should also sign up for the mentorship program. So I actually have a lot of newer agents that, as long as they meet the production standards, they are getting a second stream of income on top of their rev share. I have 21-year-olds that are getting rev share. I have people that have been, in a sense, wondering if they'll ever be able to make it in this real estate industry, at other companies, come over to eXp and now have multiple streams of income. And then I too have sat with them. I'm like, have you guys even opened up your stock account? And they're like, wait, what? We have stock? I'm like, yeah, we talked about this. And they open it up and they too are like, oh my gosh, I have stock. And then I'll walk them through like how to automatically buy stock at 5% at a 5% discount. And so these are not just super experienced 20 years in, 10 years in realtors. These are new realtors that have come over and have all of these streams of income.
I love that. That's so powerful. All right. There's some big hitters on here that own teams and make millions of dollars. I'm kind of waiting for you to tell me all your secrets. Like I'm taking notes today. I'm gonna call you out. Tao, Kai. Think I saw Mickey Cavazos. There's some big money makers on here. What are you doing?
Since we touched about rev share, I just gonna touch on that a little bit. You know, while we wait for the big team leader to speak up. But for me, Amanda, I never wanted to own a big team or running a big team, right? For me, it's just like too much for me. So at our brokerage, I think a rev share is like a very happy medium where it allows a solo agent like me have the ability to run a brokerage, but without all the liability of running a brokerage, right? I always love coaching people. I always like mentoring people. I don't mind helping people. I have a hospitality personality, already, right? But I would not be able to do what I do, if I go hang my license anywhere else because I don't get paid. But over here, with the revenue share model, I help agent anyway, and then it just happened that eXp they have a structure that set up that I get paid. So I think of revenue share as a simple, business structure like that. It just allows solo agent like me on top of my flip. I get to help people in this group chat, and then somehow I get paid. So I just want to throw it out there. Keep it very simple.
I love that you touched on that because when I first joined eXp, for me, everybody joins for a different reason. Mine was the stock because I had never had stock and I didn't know anything about it. Jeff's was the technology, the lead generation. He's a tech guy. Tech and I are not friends. But revenue share was something that I never really paid attention to because I was like, I don't need a second job. I'm just here to sell houses. I don't even know what that means. And just the idea of recruiting someone seemed kind of cringy to me. But what I learned when I got here was people were like, how can I help you? How can I support you? How can I take you from selling 200 houses to 700 houses? How can I teach you about expansion and doing worldwide business? And I love that you talk about how you don't want to have a team that you're, directly involved with as far as like, okay, I've got to feed them leads and all these things. But now you've got over 300 people that you're saying, hey, I've got this lead and hey, I need this support and here's an open house that you can do and here's some listings that I have. And I think that what I grossly underestimated was the power of collaboration and that revenue share just equals partnership and none of it works unless we're all selling houses. And so for me, having people like my mentors and sponsors helping me at first, I was like, oh, they're like weirdly nice and very energetic. And what's wrong with them? Like, why are they still so nice? They just, it might be a short-term thing. 10 years later, they're still calling and saying, how can I help you and support you? And I think it's because the company incentivizes us that if we can help our groups, our families sell more houses, we all make more money. It's
I would I would like to piggyback on that because I would say that for me, I didn't really think about it till right now. You made a light bulb go off that the people was the thing that transformed me in this industry, in this business, to go from part-time to full-time and go straight into Icon. My mentor and my sponsor, who's not really active anymore, I mean, he still makes rev share. What's funny is like I had him and I was in like a little bubble with him where he was the only real agent I knew when I started, other than the ones I met during transactions. And so that was my first 2 years was just me and Keith. And he was actually a really good resource. He was my mentor for 2 straight years. Like he would handhold me as much as I needed. But it wasn't really until I started like spreading my wings and attending events with our bigger group with you and Jeff, and then I started meeting like everybody on this call that it really I feel like changed my whole business and made it more of a true career. And like you said, I mean, six figures. I would have been happy when I started making 75, $80,000 a year. I was making in the low 100s at my corporate job. I'm not shy to talk about money. So I would have loved to replace that, but I didn't need that much income. But man, once I started like plugging into all of y'all, it just shifted my mindset. And so when I tell agents like show up and participate, I don't like to force people to do that. I just wish that they would like listen to me and say it really works. Like these people that are here with us right now and some that aren't, they will change your life. I mean, it sounds hokey, but I feel like it's so true.
yeah, I think being in like having that impression of those people. Like, even like Hui's like such a business mind. He's like, if it cash flows and builds equity, then I'm in. Like that was his only pitch for EXP is cash flows and equity. And I'm like, oh, I'm like I'm a high I. So I want to talk about my friends and who I'm going to talk to and what's our lunch and learn and my coffee thing. And so I feel like seeing people do things on a bigger scale, bigger, better, faster, stronger, that wasn't available to me before. And now to see that, and then like you said, I was very happy where I was, but I'm way more happy now. And now because I'm so happy, I want to share that with other people. And that's why we're always doing these trainings and the coffee and collab and the lunch and learns and the all the events, because I feel like every realtor works so hard and we all deserve to be secure and have that stability for our family and be able to plan vacations and fly first class if we want to. And I think that sometimes finances is so simple, it's the only thing holding us back. And with these platforms, we can have it back. Okay, so Hui, since you kind of touched on that, how is life different for you now? Because you're still selling houses, you know,
Mhm.
now that you're doing revenue share and for me, I feel like you're finding leaders. You're finding people who didn't know that they're capable of being leaders and then creating leaders and supporting them and helping them, build their businesses, or even if you didn't want to have a team, helping them build their teams. How does life look different from you, even from 5 years ago?
I would say I really like the community that we have now, Amanda. I actually have a conversation with Thảo yesterday, right? And we are debating it's like, hey, there's different way to make money. You can, go do a bunch of listing, go sell houses, or you can actually help agent. So it's actually a business, and you kind of have option to pick and choose your business. So I think I'm pretty clear that you know um, somehow like when you help agent, like when I work with you, when I work with Laura, when I work with people in my group, it just I have more fulfillment, if that makes sense, right? Working with seller, especially retail client, right? Retail seller, retail buyer, it somehow ran me. I love them, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of ran my energy, right? I have to go recharge. But when I get to work with you, Amanda, work with Kai, work with people, work with my leader, it doesn't ran me, right? It gives me fulfillment. So I'm pretty clear on what I'm focusing on right now, as far as return on energy, if you will. Yeah, a lot of people they talk about return on investment, right? But nobody discuss enough about returning on energy. So for me, just working with real estate agent, helping them, developing them, my return on energy is a lot more than the traditional real estate route.
That's beautiful. I've never thought about return on energy. That's
Yeah.
No wonder he stopped picking up my call.
oh,
Calling too much. Too often.
oh.
Yep.
And you
But
think
yeah.
about, I mean, there's so many avenues of income, but we're thinking, I love to buy houses and you do too and flip them, right? But there's
Hmm.
risk involved in that. And
Yep. Yep.
never like buy a house and then that house goes and tells another house and then tells another house. There's no like scalability and duplication without that capital risk. Or even like we're in the hard money space and we love it, but there's a risk because we're giving our money away and hoping that
Hmm.
that person gives us our money back.
Yeah.
Selling houses I love. I mean, I sell over 150 a year personally. Love selling houses, but there's a time investment and I never get that time back. But I feel like
Hmm.
with leadership and giving back to our agents, those leadership skills we learned throughout the years, those production skills we learned throughout the years. And now this is a way that we can capitalize off of our skill set and give back to our agents and make great money. So if you're
Yeah.
passionate about leadership, it's a no-brainer.
So about I guess a different way that we can leverage EXP some more. I feel like as a team leader, there are many different resources. But I was thinking back at the first 2 years I with EXP being a solo agent, and there's still some of the solution were very new back then. But now I think that it's a lot more mature, and a lot of us haven't really explored much. And I think two of the things that I would always come back to check every month is EXP solutions and EXP revenues. Because I think like, for example, solution, very simple. A lot of these are affiliated that have been vested. And I mean, our new CEO, Leo, has been negotiating really good deal for EXP agent and client, right? So for example, one of them that I leverage every single transaction is the warranty company. American People Home Warranty. Do you guys, have you guys explored them? Have you guys used them? But I have, right, and I have recommend many people. And as long as you go through there for sure, you kind of have a good idea, hey, what is some of the advantage of this program? So all I do is every single time closing, I say, hey, there are many home warranty company out there you can use, but here's what I like, and this is what I prefer because first of all, they have flexible premium. You can have deductible, low deductible $50 or high deductible $100, and that gonna have an effect on your monthly payment. Now, the second part I like about this company is they let you use any licensed contractors. They don't make you use the people in their network. So it's a lot of flexibility when it comes to you, homeowner, how to use the warranty. And then that's it. And 80, 90% of the time, the people say, yeah, sure, sign me up. We got credit from seller, so why not? And then all you do now, they already have a built-in integrate streamline very nicely on SkySlope. So the one click of a button, you're done, and then you get a referral fee from it every single file you close. Boom, extra revenue from one closing, right? Very simple, easy, and at the same time, you make a good, introduction for the client, and they have a good service to use. So. And then beside solution, one of my favorite tool I like to tap into is in eXp revenues, express offers. I highly recommend it. I don't think that we as agent we leverage that program enough. But to my surprise, I have done probably I don't know 80, 90 people presentation in the last 12, 24 months about express offers. None of my seller use express offer. But they all have the same common when after meeting with me is, oh wow, I haven't heard this from any other realtors. Wow, you are very resourceful. Oh, your company is awesome, right? Because why? We have access to a cash offer within, can help them close within 10, 14 days. And just that alone. But of course, every time they see the price, they're like, yeah, just help me the traditional way, sell for top dollar, right? But I think that's a great marketing tool. And we got to get certified and then we got to use it to leverage it in our listing appointment. And that will, well, if we win the listing appointment with the client, we make extra income, right? So,
That's brilliant on how to stand out in this market because I think, as the market kind of dipped, a lot of people got out of the industry. And now we've got a lot of the big producers and hitters that are competing for these listings. And how do you stand out from different companies? Um, Making a cash offer is something that I don't know of any other realtor that's doing that. So that's brilliant. Like you
I,
said, you're giving me a resource and an offer that I didn't have. I'm going to use you regardless. Open that door.
Yeah, and then also on revenues too. I would say that between relocations and orchard leads, I know Jeff does a lot with BPOs. Those all those leads come from that same umbrella underneath, underneath that same revenues umbrella with our company. And I agree. I think it's probably a lot of agents don't understand it. They don't know what it means. And I would say I probably get 20% of my transaction by count comes from revenues. And even though I know it's like gasp, I pay 40 to 50% of my commission as a fee to that program. Y'all, I will turn every single one of those into at minimum one additional transaction. So for me, if you don't know what that is and you or people want to know more about it, I'm happy to talk on it. And I know all the leaders in that department. So we should be spreading the word because I know a lot of the big brokers have big relocation departments, but a lot of people that are coming from medium to small brokers, they don't even have that opportunity. They're never going to have that opportunity.
That's so true. And eXp can walk into that room and say, "Hey, we've got tens of thousands of realtors. We're in 27, something different countries. Like it's not just Laura showing up to the office, which is different." I know for me, I closed, I think, 12 last year from Revenos. And I think that that's something like you said, it's just a stream of income. Even though you're paying that referral fee, you're adding that person to your database, you're nurturing them, you're getting referrals off of that, and then you're not paying a referral fee on that. And all of those people have jobs, which is nice, and they're qualified and they have to move fast. So I think that that's a huge stream of income that we can add for next year. Has anyone played in the co-sponsorship world? Are you all getting into that?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. How do you like that so far?
I think so. I haven't I haven't fully into it yet, but I think for example, I'm just gonna use the example of two of my leaders, right? One, he has a really big team, and then one, is really good with new agent. So with both of them combined, the so far I see the new person coming in, they kind of enjoy the aspect of having like a really really big team leader, and then also somebody that is really good and very relatable as fast, let's say working part time. Yeah. So I would say, if you identify your strengths and then the person, your partner can complement you, you could make a great team when it comes to co-sponsor.
I think it's a
Yeah.
huge asset because
I
I mean, EXP is always like we're one EXP and we want to all work together. But we found is there's all these little groups of people all across, the world. And now they're saying, hey, you can work with that YouTube rock star, or you can work with that hedge fund rock star, or the guy who's in commercial, but then you can also work with someone who's local and can support you. And I feel like it's
yeah.
so cool to have multiple streams of
Yeah,
business.
so let's say for example, right, I also make a lot of friends within EXP outside of Team Legacy, right? Now, I talk a lot more with Daniel when it comes to collaboration. I talk a lot more with Garrick Yen when it comes to collaboration. They in Dallas, Luann is in Hawaii, right? Garrick is in California. So you start to opening up all of this market that you can really tap into, and you don't have a local presence there. So that, location wise, that would be really, really good for co-sponsor.
I agree. Suzanne?
I'd like to mention that we haven't mentioned yet, especially if there's anybody new on here, that eXp is nationwide, they're worldwide really, but most of the brokerages out there are franchises. So somebody may own one or two franchises, and eXp is nationwide. Like for me, I know they're worldwide, but I get referrals from all over the country. And if you're new and haven't joined the Facebook groups, Team Legacy has a Facebook group. Also, we have a EXP Workplace, and a lot of times people like from California will post and say, "I have a client moving to California who works in Dallas, who works in Frisco, who works in Katy, like who knows that area. I'm looking to refer somebody." And then you want to jump on that like right away and say, this is me. I'm on, if you're brand new, you might say, I'm on this team, so I have a lot of support. But once you start getting referrals, it almost seems like it's a snowball effect. It grows and grows and grows, and then that person tells somebody else about you. And it's really why I stayed with EXP. For me, that is like the biggest benefit is that we we um, we can get referrals from all over, and it's not greedy. Like it's not, I'm going to take it, or people it's some other brokerages I've worked for want to take all the big things. Like if you're on a team, you won't get the big deals. That team leader is going to take that big deal. The person referring that doesn't, they're not, they're going to get a 25% referral fee, and so they just want somebody to take really good care of their client or their friend or, somebody that's here. And so I really encourage you to set up notifications, even though I know we don't want like 5,000 notifications, but when it's workplace and it's the team saying I'm looking for someone, you really want to watch that and respond to it right away, because you will really get a lot of referrals. And I haven't recruited in a minute. I've been kind of busy, but I do like recruiting. But I personally mentor the people that I recruit because I know how lost they are, and I've mentored people that were recruited by other people that don't really follow up with them, and they think they're going to get a lot of support from the person that sponsored them. Then, and it's okay that you sponsor people, but personally, I feel obligated to help them. And even, years later, there's people in our team that can still ask me anything, and I still help them. Even though I don't get the 10% anymore, but that was an extra bit of income being a mentor. But we didn't mention about the Facebook and getting referrals from all over. So I would just really watch that and respond to that. If our business is kind of slowed, everybody's seen it this year. NAR put out an email. I don't know if you ever read the NAR emails, but that's the National Association of Realtors, if you didn't know. But almost 100,000 realtors in January did not pay their dues to stay active. So 100,000, it is across the country, but that's a lot of people. And the reason they aren't is because they're putting out money and they're not making money. They're hurting, And so to have a collaboration, and I know we say that word collaborate, but really think about it because our team really does collaborate. I mean, our team is really special. When I first started recruiting, I was talking to this man and he was really not nice. And I was telling Amanda about it. I was like, man, this guy just was not nice. And immediately she said, don't recruit him. Don't sponsor him. You don't have to work with anybody that you don't feel comfortable working with. But my mentality was, I want all that I can get. I want every person, I'm like, I'll do anything, to make a sale and, and make money. But then you sacrifice your peace of mind, you're stressed all the time. And I have a client right now who's a multi-million-dollar client, and I'm not going to work with them anymore because it's been too stressful for me. And it's half of me is like, am I crazy? Like I remember showing $15,000 houses in the fourth ward or whatever in Houston when I first started. It was so bad. And I would do anything. And now it's not because I don't want or need the money. It's because it's not worth it to me mentally to have to deal with people not nice. And so, but the Facebook thing is really helpful, and you can get a lot of leads through that, but you just really have to watch it all the time. And you could also collaborate with some other people, and they'll tell you, like Philip is in Forney, and he'll say, "Hey, this one's in Dallas," and he'll he'll screenshot it and send it to me, and he'll get this one right quick. And so it's almost like a game. We help each other get the referrals in our area.
And you did it really well. You were really strategic about she has a niche. So if you've been in production for a while and you're like, I really know how to do REOs or short sales or whatever your niche is, hers is land development and she does it at a really high level. And for me, that's like a whole nother language because it's very expensive and there's a lot of room for error and there's a huge learning curve and she's mastered it. And so what she'll do is she will teach classes on land development and give back to those agents and say, you can do it on your own, or you can refer it to me and I'll do it for you, or I'll do it with you and I'll mentor you along the way. And that's opened up a lot of opportunities for her. So if you have a niche, teach a class, we'll give you the platform. There's lots of agents who are willing to learn that, and you'll.
And that's so true. On the land development, I don't mind helping anybody, teaching them anything that I know. I mean, I don't know everything. I still learn all the time. I'm working in a different county right now, but I started off with like 5 acres, and made 5 1 acre lots, and then 6 acres, and I made 5 1 acre lots out of that 6 acres. And then I did like 6 of those, and then I had somebody want to sell their 20 acres, and I told them I could get them a lot more money if they would let me subdivide their land. So I get paid for subdividing their land and I get paid as the realtor because they have to use me to sell it. It's like part of the deal. So I did a 20-acre one. And from that, I met somebody else that was an in-between person to somebody else. And somebody flew in and was visiting with this man, the not nice man. And they bought a $2 million property using me, and it was like 153 acres. And they were like, and we were riding around in a little buggy, and this guy's talking, he's going to make it a hunting thing, a rehab place. He's thinking of all these ways to make income on this $2 million property. And I said, if you let me subdivide 50 of your acres, I can get you all of your money back, and you'll have 100 acres and the house and the barn and stables for free. And he kind of like blew me off and everything, and he's like, no, we don't want to do that. Like 2 weeks later, he calls me and he says, can you really give me my money back if I let you, subdivide 50 acres? And I said, yes. I ran the numbers. I really looked at it hard. I mean, I really look at things hard before I commit to it. And so they hired me. And so halfway through, I go to my first county meeting. Everything goes great. And they see the profit that they're going to make. And he says, I want to do all of it. I want to do the whole 153 acres. And his return on investment is he's going to get all his money back, plus make $3 million. And we already have a builder who wants to build on all the lots. I mean, it's just crazy great. And we were super excited, but that door came from somebody else showing me how to divide up 5 acres, and this will be the biggest one I've ever done. I get to name a street Legacy Lane. We talked about that. And and all the streets are named after my family, and the subdivision's named after my family. Every time I do one, pick somebody in my family. So it's just so rewarding in so many different ways. And I'm definitely happy to help people. I don't like when I help people a lot and then they go and do something and never come back and tell me anything. Like I don't get anything off of that financially or anything, but just to know that you help them, you're not always going to get a return. But I'm bad about not having a contract because I'm so trusting and I want to help people anyway, and I always answer their questions. So I am going to have to get better about that.
Like we're always learning. And really that comes back to having the resources and having those doors open. And so there's so many avenues of door opening and connections and support that I've seen while I've been here. It's just been mind blowing. And like you said, it could just be one little, oh, I'm going to do one project, and then who knows where that's going to lead. So yeah, plug in. It's the hub. I just put a link onto the chat box so you guys can plug into that. And Kai also mentioned the university. Kai, do you want to talk about the university?
Oh yeah. So with the the new update that they push out this year for eXp University, there's so many different paths, different learning, live and on demand. But personally, because my schedule has been so unpredictable, I have been it's was hard for me to tap into all the live training. So I have been checking out all the on-demand trainings, and out of them, one of my really favorite, I actually instead of going to eXp University, I just go directly to the eXp YouTube link that I posted, and they have all the series on there. So if you quickly scroll down, you will see one of the series called the Lab, and that has been my favorite. I use it instead of music on the drive now, and when I'm not listening to my audiobook, I'm listening to the Lab. And the cool thing about it is Brian Ellington, he hosted, and he was such a good job at inviting a variety of people every episode, and he keep it super short, so 20-30 minutes, and that's it, right? But he was able to get all the takeaway and nugget out during the conversation, so it's really cool, and it's my favorite. I highly recommend everyone to check it out. I'm picking up little thing from a production tip to a running thing, organize your day, to technology, to software, open house, all kind of thing. It's really cool. Yeah.
I'll check that out. I have two things before we run out of time, and I want to open this up for other people to chime in. One is because we are not like when I got licensed in Texas, I'm licensed in all of Texas. But when I was at a traditional brokerage, I was just really in the Galleria of Houston bubble. So that's the open houses I had access to. That's the listings I had access to. Those are the people that I could mastermind around. And now I'm open to all of Texas, which is it's way bigger. It's a huge world out there. And because of that, because we had already kind of figured out how to be leaders and how to build a team and how to have production, we were able to find leaders in Dallas and Austin and San Antonio and Corpus Christi and different major cities and say, hey, do you want to help me build Cityside and have expansion teams? We had access to leadership and tracking and all of that. And what I love, because eXp is one brokerage, is they have my whole team roster. And if one of those agents has a sale, I get an email that says, hey, Angela had a sale, or Susie, somebody had a sale, and we're going to make sure we put you on the CDA. And is this split correct? They kind of track my business and my money. Even though I should do it, they do it for me. And Laura just sent this link about the referral program. For those of you who are like, I do a lot of business, but I also have a lot of referrals, but sometimes I send those out. Like mom said, I send those out and then I don't hear from anybody and I don't know what happened and I can't track it. Or let's say you're not doing a lot of business and you don't want to start, you don't want to pay for MLS right now, the HAR or the Netris or whatever MLS you have, it's expensive, but you want to be an active realtor. They have a commercial division here where you can hang your license at the commercial division, still be an active realtor, and you can be a referral agent and you can refer out deals for 25, 30% and get paid. And that link that Laura shared tracks everything. It tracks the agent you assigned it to, it tracks the agreement, it tracks the client. And so you'll get updates along the way. Hey, so and so this is the status, or this deal just closed. We're going to make sure you're on the CDA. And so if you wanted to build a business within a business, or like we was talking, a brokerage within a brokerage, you can do it with no risk, no liability, no capital risk, and no money spent, no headache, no tracking. So I think that link and the referral program as a referral agent is something that a lot of us should consider.
I just did one. I just want to say that anytime you have a client moving across town, if it's like whatever is outside of your zone, I just had someone move to Kentucky and they called a listing agent. I told them to let me know, but they didn't. They called a listing agent. They said, "Hey, Laura, we tried this listing agent. They didn't answer. Hold on, I'm going to find you a realtor." And then I found them a realtor, and now I'm going to make 25% of their deal in Kentucky. I mean,
Why not?
it really happens. So I mean, people, I don't even know if people realize like the eXp technology to from where it started to now. I mean, Amanda, you know that. Like we were so like antiquated. I mean, just like every brokerage, right? When we started, but they do have everything to empower us, and you can do that referral. Literally, it'll take you a minute to fill the form out.
And it's worldwide, right? I mean, we could refer to South Africa if we wanted to, or Mexico, or Canada. We've got hundreds of Canadians just in our group, but thousands within the company. Yeah, why not get paid on that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'd love to open this up the last 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions or ahas or anything as far as new ways to make money under this platform?
Just a quick follow-up on the referral thing. I think starting about last year, I started training agent to add one more question whenever they talking to their sphere. I would add something like this: Hey, my company is in all 50 states now and in 24 countries. If you or any of your loved one ever thought about real estate outside Texas, feel free to let me know, and I will connect you with the best person in those areas. And it's crazy because then it's open to several referral that we got this year. Because before that, they didn't think that we can help them outside Texas. But just add that one little verbiage into our conversation with that add on more revenue.
I love that. It's all about scripts. Well, this has been really powerful. I'm really thankful that all of you came and shared your secrets. And, a lot of us as realtors, we get into this business to build freedom, right? I talk to everybody and I'm like, what do you want? And it's always, I want freedom, I want security, I want stability. They don't want to sell 1,000 houses, but that's sometimes what it takes to be able to build whatever their life is or what success looks like for them. But none of us join this to just have another job, but what I found is a lot of realtors just have one stream of income. And I feel like that moment stops today with all of these ideas and the platform of eXp Realty. It's way more than just a business model. It's a wealth building ecosystem that we get to be plugged into. So we all deserve a model where we have leadership pouring into us and they're financially getting benefited when they help us and ownership in our company. And like Quy says, cash flow and equity. We're way more than just our transactions. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to share this recording with you so you have it. And if you have any questions on any of the links or anything to sign up for, even there's like 15 referral partners of lead gen. It's incredible. I know it's a lot, but this is how you're going to get to that 6 or 7 figure income while being a realtor. So thank you so much for being here. And I can't wait.
Excuse me, Amanda, will you share that directory link for people?
Yes.
And the directory is like all over the country. And also we have a Team Legacy directory. But if you need to refer somebody to a different state, you can look them up very easily with this directory and not have to Google them.
I will share it right now. There's a public one, and then as an actual agent, you'll have a private one where you can see more details.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Suzanne, Kai, Laura, Hui, everybody for pouring into our agents. And we'll see you next week. Reach out for
All
anything.
right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you,
Bye.
Amanda. Bye-bye.